All right, guys, don't make fun of my graph. so, so I wanted to share this with you guys because I had a guy ask me like, when's the best time to invest in real estate? On a podcast I was on, Zach from ROI Podcast, great guy. Thanks so much for having me on, man. I had a great time on that thing, but super important because I'm sharing this with you guys, so you guys get how elite real estate investors invest in multifamily. So, these ones and twos. So we have a buyer's market phase one, buyer's market phase two. Then we have a seller's market phase one, seller's market phase two. If you take a look at what's going on right now in real estate, the headlines are going nuts. This is a recession. The feds keep hiking up the rates. The capital market's going crazy. Blackstone and all those guys are defaulting on mortgages, selling office buildings for pennies on the dollar. $90 million, and now you're selling for $30 million. Man, that's a huge hit. People are offing a lot of real estate. So it's spreading. The media and the headlines are spreading a lot of what's not being seen. So I want to share with you guys, investing money in real estate right now, the way elite guys do it. They do it through all cycles. And here's what some people don't get. All right, so this right here is a buyer's market phase one. This is the time in the market where nothing's moving, properties are staying on the market longer, which is where we are now. The capital market is constricted. They're not pumping out capital and loans and financing the way that they used to for multifamily properties. If you look around, a lot of these bigger deals have halted. People are not writing checks right now. They're going to put the pens down. So, but in a buyer's market phase one, the typical thing is properties are staying on the market longer. You got more buyers out there looking at deals than you have sellers willing to sell. And if so, they're selling at some form of a discount. Whether they're doing a discount on price, they're selling with creative financing, structuring some type of extra credit type deal. But that's what, if you haven't noticed, if you watch the headlines right now, Blackstone and all these guys put together these big funds, and they're leaning into what's called private capital. So, or private credit in the capital market. So, but in a buyer's market phase two, which is what typically happens in this situation, people get here, they don't know how low the bottom is going to go. So they wait, they pull back. Nope, let's hold on. Then it moves into buyer's market phase two, which now you have a bunch of buyers out there. They start to kind of look and say, okay, I think the bottom is over. Let's start buying properties. They start picking up these properties at somewhat of a basement price, kind of what you also see a little bit of. So there's a blend what's going on in the market, a pullback, and then there's still acquisition at what they figure is basement price, or they can make sense of that price. Next, we move into the seller's market phase one, which is right here. So this is a buyer's market phase two, seller's market phase one. And we all just came out of that. Most people that just started real estate investing over the last maybe 10 years or so, they like real 10 years or so, 5 years or so, they kind of got in right here. They're not used to all this. They missed this part. They're like, oh yeah, 2008. And they're all pumped up and excited about it. But here we are right here. And they're like, oh wow, real estate. You see it all the time. You see a bunch of wholesalers, a bunch of flippers, a bunch of development guys rush in, and they start buying properties. This is interesting for development guys in seller's market phase one, because they start buying lots, single family lots, maybe some small multifamily lots. They start building fourplexes, fourplexes, 5-unit, 10-unit, 16-unit buildings. They start doing that because once we move into seller's market phase two, which is the developer's market, they start offing those properties. They got to make their money back, right? Developers, builders, contractors, fix and flip guys, those guys have to make their money back. So they kind of get in here because there's a bunch of product on the market and a bunch of buyers are like, it's limited product. People are like, hey, I'm going to snap it up. I'm going to overpay. And during this time also, money's cheaper a lot of times. Now, here's what happens. You'll see it when I say it. All of a sudden, the bottom falls out. Properties are staying on the market longer. Developers are building stuff and have to walk away. They're not getting their money out. They're having to abandon projects that they started because either permits are taking too long, the cost of building products taking too long, labor costs have went up one way, shape, or form, insurance costs has went up. All of these things threw everything into a spiral, not including the feds raising the rates, debt, and all that other stuff kind of drying up. So, and banks closing, all that. So here's what happened. We're now in phase two. But you got a few guys out there like me that saw this, that I've been through these market cycles already. I get it. So realistically, I would say somewhere around here, in between a buyer's market phase two and a seller's market phase one, I started the fund. I started to kind of master what that was. I started to talk to my investors. I was like, hey, winter's coming, guys. There's going to be a time where there's going to be a massive pullback where there's not going to be capital. The money is not going to flow as free. Like the days of easy money is going to be gone, and there's going to be an opportunity. in this market right here, for some of the big guys to have to off their stuff. This is a seller's market phase 2, right? This is what happens with elite investors. We get it. We know you're going to be left holding the bag in this dip. So what we're trying to do is score in the dip. Right now, at least in Bell Capital. We want to score in the dip. So we start raising money. We're raising money. We're searching for deals right now. It's like the standoff all over again, like we said, because why? We have to move into the phase 1 of the buyer's market again. There's going to be a bunch of people out there looking, but nobody wants to sell. And if they can sell, they can't sell for a thing that makes them whole. That's what's getting ready to happen. Now, the reason why I said this is for how elite investors play is because you got to learn how to buy in the buyer's market phase 1, buyer's market phase 2, and compete in the seller's market. I was still buying through all these cycles. Different strategy, different way to go. But there's a time when you abandon all that extra stuff and you go, cool, where are we headed? This is where Bell Capital came, and this is where Bell Capital was born, right? I looked and I was, well, right here, right there, right in between there. So it was kind of in between the seller's market phase 1, seller's market phase 2. So, but what we're looking to do right now is buy in this dip. This is where all the money is going to be made. This is where elite investors play the game. It's not because we're trying to get a basement price. We're not trying to get that. We're trying to get a good deal. This is where all the deals happen in every real estate market cycle. Every one of them. If you take a look back 10, 20, 30 years ago, the best real estate in the United States traded in between the time that developers and some of the bigger players that had acquired a lot of properties needed to now turn around and recapitalize, whether they refinance or need to pay off their investors. And they had to do it in a time that was in between high market and low market. High seller's market phase 1, phase 2, in between the dip of buyer's market phase 1 where shit slowed down, which is what you see happening right now. So this is the opportunity, guys, because at some point we're going to buy in the dip. We're going to have great properties. We're going to wait it out from cash flow. We're going to pick up more, and then pick up more in this buyer's market phase 1, phase 2. And then we're going to be sitting heavy. We're going to be sitting heavy in the seller's market, and then we're going to refi, cash out, and rip somebody's head off. Then we're going to take that refinance money as developers come on board, buy some of these assets again, and then we're going to buy in the dip. We're going to be like, okay, cool. We'll wait. We'll see if we can't steal something from some developer that's in seller's market phase 2 again because he overbuilt. He bet right here. He started turning in permits and trying to build in the seller's market phase 1. The door shut in his face. Capital dried up. He can't get it. Got to pay his investors back, or he has to walk from those projects that are fully developed, by the way. Like when we're looking at multifamily properties, like we looked at one the other day that was built in 2016, and beautiful property. It's great. It's still within the time frame of the 10-year of what's that called? Warranties for a developer. So this right here, this is the wealth maker, right? If you get in and you refinance cash and you start buying in seller's market phase 2 for people who have to sell in the 2, or you start buying in the dip right here. Oh my gosh. So this is a straight line trajectory to 1 billion in assets. This is what we're doing. So when I'm taking a look at everything, I'm like, look, we started right here for Bell Capital. We started raising capital. Here's what I already knew what was going to happen coming up here in seller's market phase 2, which is we're in the process of this now. This is all the stuff you see in the news. And then after that, this dip is going to happen. We're going to start buying inside of the dip, buying great pieces of property, 40, 50, $60 million assets that cash flow that we're going to, we're looking for people who have an urgency to sell right now, right? Then we buy in this dip. We're going to take that money and we're going to keep raising money. We're going to buy here, buy seller's market 1, and then we're going to keep clobbering people all the way up until we hit to $1 billion in assets, which in my mind, that's going to be about 4,000 units, about 300,000 a door. That's how we're going to get there. That's for $1.2 billion in assets, AUM, right? We're going to raise $400 million to do that from our investors. And trust me, we're all going to make money in these deals. I promise you we're all going to make money. My goal is to hit $1 billion worth of assets, but I'm going to make a lot of people rich doing it because I can't flip enough real estate. I can't buy enough small deals through any of these cycles to bang up $400 million. I'm going to have to go to you guys rather than go to big wealthy institutions, financial advisors, family offices, wealthy families. I'm going to go to you guys, the everyday investor, and we're going to play this game because look at what I showed you. This trajectory through all of this crap that I wrote up there, you can't even see it anymore. Like buyer's market phase 1 through 2, the elite guys like myself and the other bigger boys, they're still buying. They sold that, like Blackstone sold at a dip, but they built a fund to go ahead and provide private credit to these other people to bail them out, so they still get a piece of all these properties that are coming available inside of every dip in between the seller's market phase 2 and the buyer's market phase 1. They don't have to wait to figure out where the bottom is. They're just going to buy, and they're going to establish the stopping bottom, right? Remember that, guys. Whenever I buy an apartment building at a time when everybody else is questioning where the bottom is going to be, my acquisition of that price per door, is going to be the new bottom if it's big enough. If it's big enough, I can plug a hole in the boat. If it's too small, no one will notice it. So that's why raising money and going after some of these bigger deals at this time in the market is so valuable, because I can start to dictate, and we can start to dictate the market as it relates to us 10, 20, 30 years in the future. That's why this matters. So the big question here, hopefully you guys followed that. If not, go back and rewatch this video. Sorry about the lighting and stuff. I just got pumped up. I didn't want to set up the studio because we did this podcast a minute ago. But the big thing here, just remember this. Remember this. Get this vision in your head. This is every market cycle. You want to be able to ride that wave up to that market cycle. You want to buy here, 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 buy here in this dip, and then maintain and keep grabbing cash all the way into this next dip. And you just want to keep doing it the whole way. This is how the elite investors play the game in multifamily property, investing in real estate. They never stop investing. They never stop pumping money. They never stop buying deals. They just know where they are in these cycles. So as they're buying the deals, they know why they're getting the deals and what the exit is for those deals. Every one of those guys always exit money right here, whether they sell or they refi, and they use this to buy more. They use that money to buy here, and these values of these properties are way more than the ones that they bought over here. 100%. So I'll go over this more on my other board in my office. I can do a very specific training on this. I know this looks like a weird centipede that's got caught in some trap, but man, this is exciting to me. Like, I know like it's a little bit difficult to follow, but just trust me on this. If you guys ever want to do a real training on this, to ask questions, reach out to me, man. Go to 808-778-1326. You can text me, you can call me, or you can go to bell-capital.com. You can find out, you can schedule a call with us as investors, find out how you can invest in Bell Capital. And I can show you the deals we're looking at. You can look at all the deals we go after, look at deals we don't, and I can tell you exactly why we didn't go after them. So you get an understanding of me as a fund manager. You start to trust me. You start to trust. I'm one of the best real estate pickers on the planet. I honestly believe that. I can look at a deal and I know whether that deal is going to make money, lose money, be worth more 10 years in the future, or it's going to lose money 10 years in the future. I know a loser just as well as I know a winner. So reach out to us, bell-capital.com. You can go there, or you can reach out to me, 808-778-1326. Like this video, share this video, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I need your help, guys. I want to get my subscription up, so like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this with other people, ask other people to subscribe. We're trying to get our subscribers up so I can ask questions to you guys and I can share the information that you guys want to see, not just the information that I get excited about to share with you guys. I want to answer your questions. So I want to meet every one of you guys. Let me know how I can help, and you guys have a great day today.